Hi there, and good evening. Thank you for joining us for Navigating UVM Finances Essential Tips for New Students and Families. First, we hope your summer is off to a great start. It is beautiful up here in Burlington today. My name is Susan, and I am on the team here at Student Financial Services at the University of Vermont. Congratulations to all of the new students on high school graduation and admission to UVM. We are very excited for you to join us as our newest catamounts in the fall. Now, welcome to the first of two live events where our goal is to offer you these essential tips to help navigate the University of Vermont finances. SFS, Student Financial Services, is here to help to meet you wherever you are on your runway to joining us on campus in the fall. You may have already considered and accepted your financial aid in your MyUVM student portal. You may have just dipped a toe into your portal and maybe looking for some guidance as to steps forward, or you may be wondering, how do I see my financial aid? What is my portal? What do I do? Wherever you are, hopefully we can help you tonight and going forward through this process. So next slide, please, Ben. Now here's a peek at our agenda for the next hour. I will get us started, and then I will hand the presentation off to my coworkers, Jan, Martha, and Terry, and Ben is helping us behind the scenes. So thank you to everyone. I am going to go over these steps for success or essential tips, the first few tasks that you can complete before the July 9th billing statement. And this will really help to make the transition to college as smooth as possible, so you can really hit the ground running when you get here in August. And then Jan will dig a little deeper into billing and payment, financial aid. She will go over unexpected financial circumstances that may arise and how to manage that. And we'll end with an opportunity to take some questions for you. I will say now that we will give you some timeframes and deadlines tonight for completing some tasks. I can only recommend that you take care of these things now. Today, tomorrow, within the next week, as soon as you are able, so that you can go off and enjoy the summer without tasks hanging over your head, without reminder emails from UVM. So let's get started right now. Next slide, please, Ben. They'll have a Q&A, question and answer feature available to you. You'll be able to type in questions. We will be doing our best to answer as many of your questions on the spot as possible. And of course, this is a time for general questions that may be beneficial to everyone. If you have a question specific to yourself, we are here for you. Along the way, we will be dropping in some links and contact information. And the final slide at the end, you can take a screenshot of it. It will tell you how to call us, email us, drop in to see us. And please note here that all of the UVM orientation information and how-to videos are available to you on our website. So let's get started. Next slide, Ben. Steps for success. The first thing that you can do as a new student or the parent of a new student to make your life easier is to have the student designate you as a proxy user on their UVM account. A proxy user can be a parent, a guardian, a grandparent, a close family friend, any adult or adults in your life who are interested and able to help you to manage the financial aspects of going to college. This person will be included in the billing statements. We would be able to talk to them on the phone, via email, discuss any billing questions or concerns. If you submit your proxy access designation before July 7th, they can be included on that very first billing statement that goes out July 9th. As with all of these steps, I recommend you do it now. We'll get the ball rolling, and then you can relax and enjoy your summer. Next slide. The second step that I would like you to take is to accept and finalize your financial aid offer. Now, in your portal, you may notice there are requirements or additional documentation being requested to finalize your financial aid. Please pay attention to these and submit any requested information now so that your aid will pay on time. You don't want to get to campus in the fall and have to dig up some information from home when you could take care of that now. You will also see that your grants and scholarships are accepted for you and will be accounted for on your bill without you doing anything. Loans and federal work study that you may be eligible for will be in the offered status, and they will pay to your billing statement if you accept them before July 1st. And I know this is a lot of information. I'm just sort of doing an overview here, and Jan will dive a little deeper into all of these steps a little bit more deeply in a few minutes. Next slide, please, Ben. Now, getting your loans to pay to your account does take a few steps, and these are the federal loans or possibly UVM loans that are in the offered status. The student accepts the loans in their UVM portal, and then they will complete entrance counseling and a master promissory note. And that's helping a student to understand what they're doing in accepting that loan, what the repayment process is going to be, interest rates if applicable, timing, etc. And it is the student that must accept their own loans and do these steps of entrance counseling and master promissory note. And that documentation is done at studentaid.gov, where they've done their FAFSA. Students log in with their FAFSA login and password to complete those steps. If a student is offered a Clark loan from the University of Vermont, they also sign and submit a promissory note. And this one does need to be actually signed with a pen and emailed or brought in to Student Financial Services in the Waterman building. Next slide, please. Submitting scholarship information and payments. We would like you to submit to Student Financial Services prior to July 1st any outside scholarships that may be coming to you from your community, any other outside source. If we have those in Student Financial Services, we can include those and account for those in that July billing statement. Typically, you'll have an award letter from the funding source, whether it's the high school, a Rotary group, a parent workplace. You can forward to us the award letter. You don't have to have the check yet, and we can include that in the financial aid offer. Make sure to include the student's name and their UVM ID number. That's that number that starts with 95 or 96. If you already have a check, you can send that in to us, and all of that, the mailing addresses are on our website, and we'll include the links to that information here. If the check is only made out to the student, make sure they sign it over to UVM on the back before they submit it to UVM. Next slide, please. The next really important step that you need to complete, and every single student at UVM needs to complete this step, you must submit your health insurance decision and waiver form. All students at UVM are required to carry health insurance. You may have health insurance at home. Just make sure it will cover you at UVM. And if it does not, or if you do not have health insurance from home, you'll be enrolled in the UVM Student Health Insurance Plan. It's called SHIP. The deadline to complete the decision and waiver form for UVM is July 1st. If you do not complete the form by the deadline, you will be charged for UVM health insurance, and a hold will be placed on the student account. So please take care of that right away with your proxy status and financial aid finalization. If you miss the deadline and then the premiums are on your billing statement, you can still get that waiver in, but by September 15th, if that waiver decision form is not completed, you will be charged for that premium. So please take that step seriously and get that taken care of, please. Next slide. Now, I have referenced this first billing statement several times. The billing statement for fall goes out on July 9th, and it is due paid in full to UVM by Friday, August 15th at 4:30 p.m. Ideally, prior to the July 9th billing statement, you will have accepted any loans or federal work study in your portal. You will have notified us of any other funds or outside scholarships that are coming in. Please do not assume that we know how you're going to pay your bill. Please don't take any chances that funds outside of your control, 529s, outside loans, are going to get to UVM on time. Just keep us posted as to your plans. We can make notes in the account, and we can make any necessary I guess just notes on the account that something is on the way is probably the best way to think about it. Bills that are not paid in full by 4:30 on the due date, August 15th, are subject to a $250 late fee and a hold on the account. And we don't want that to happen when we know the funds are coming. So keep us posted. 529 plans, outside scholarships, tuition remission, private loans, and we'll be sure to get you off and running on the right foot. Next slide, please. I must have reached my maximum word allotment for the evening. The final step that I'm going to ask you to take is to set up direct deposit attached to your MyUVM student portal. Any funds that pay to the MyUVM account above and beyond your billed tuition charges this first year are going to be tuition, fees, meal plans, housing charges, sometimes lab fees, course fees. Anything that is paid above and beyond those charges are available to you as a refund to cover outside costs of books and supplies. So when you set up direct deposit, and this can be to a student account or a parent account, that will allow us to forward that refund to you in a timely manner. And you do this through your MyUVM portal, set up direct deposit, checking account number, routing number, off you go. So that is a very broad overview of these first steps that we want you to take care of. And I'm now going to turn things over to Jan, who's going to take you on a little bit of a deeper dive into the billing and payment process and fill in some of the cracks, and keep those questions coming, and we will try to get you answered as quickly as we can. Jan, take it away.
Thanks, Susan. All right, Ben, if we can have the next slide, please. Wonderful. So as Susan said, we're going to go a little bit deeper into billing and all the different forms of payment. And I know there's been a bunch of questions coming in about different forms of payment and loans, and hopefully I can answer some of those for you in this segment. So Susan had mentioned that we do bill by semester. What you're looking on at your screen right now is the billable costs for the 2 semesters for the full year. Now, one thing you won't see on your screen right now, there is, if your student is in the College of Engineering and Math Sciences, Grossman School of Business, or the College of Nursing and Health Science, there will be a $1,000 program fee that you will see on your bill. You can see that average food and housing on campus is listed. We bill based on a traditional standard double and an average meal plan. Now, once your student actually gets their housing assignment, that cost may change a little bit. And you will see that on the subsequent bill. Also, if your student decides to increase their meal plan, add points, things like that, that will be on an additional bill as well. To estimate your balance, you can see on our screen, go.uvm.edu, estimate your bill. That's going to help you kind of get a good heads up of what's on its way. Next slide, please. Thank you. Now we'll talk about some of the payment options. And I know we've had a couple questions already coming in about a 529 plan. Some of you may have 529 plans. Those come to us in the form of a check from your financial institution. So we do ask that you request those 529 distributions early. Please make sure that your financial institution notes the student ID on the check. That helps us to get those funds to the correct student in a prompt and timely manner. Some of you have asked about any delays that might happen with a 529. We do ask, if you are going to send us a 529, please email us and let us know. What that's going to help us do is note on your account where it's coming from, the financial institution, and the dollar amount. We want that noted to help you avoid any late fees, just in case the mail takes a little bit longer and it lands here past the deadline. UVM always takes online payments. You can go in, your student can go in through their portal, you can go in through your proxy portal. We actually have a guest option as well, and a guest payer only needs your student name and ID. That's great for some gift giving. Perhaps you have a family member that wants to help support your student or give something toward their college instead of a birthday or holiday gift. They can make a direct online payment as well. I do recommend using the e-check option at any time you're setting up any payments with UVM. This is an ACH from your checking account, and there's no fee. If you use a credit card or a debit card, there is a 2.85% service charge that's charged by the processor. I don't love service charges, and we're going to help you try to avoid them as well. That e-check option is the way to go. Next slide, please. Now, we do also offer a monthly payment plan. Monthly payment plans, you sign up each semester. There is a $60 enrollment fee to sign up for the plan, but there's no interest on the payment plan. You can enroll now for your fall payment plans. There is only one payment plan per student, and either the student or a proxy can enroll for it. If you enroll early, if you enroll now, you will start your payments will be withdrawn from your account on the first of each month, beginning in July. Those will end in November for the fall, and they'll start up again in December. Spring payment plans open on October 1st. To enroll, log in as your proxy user, look for the monthly payment plan link under View Account and Billing Activity and make payments. Next slide, please. Now, some of you may have federal work study on your aid offer. Federal work study is you are eligible based on your financial need. I will talk about other options if you don't have federal work study as well. If you don't have federal work study, it doesn't mean you can't get a campus job. They all go through the same process. Now, please keep in mind if your student has federal work study, this does not get applied to your bill. This is a campus job that the student works and gets paid bi-weekly. Maybe it's for some incidental expenses. Maybe they're saving some of the money for books for the following semester, maybe just some Ben and Jerry's for that hard-earned A on that exam. To secure a job, your students are going to want to go on to student employment. It's right there on our screen, and it's all done through JobX. They want to make sure if they're going to choose work study that they first accept it in their portal, and they need to be hired into a job by October 1st. Now, JobX is the same place where non-work study employment is listed as well. Our campus employment is highly sought after. Not saying that you won't be able to get a job on campus, but you may not get your first choice. So I always recommend to students who are interested in working on campus to start looking at that job board early. Many of our positions in the fall start to get posted end of July, beginning of August, and that's a great time to start exploring and applying for some of those jobs. Next slide, please. All right. Now, federal student loans. If you have applied and used your FAFSA, you probably have some type of federal student loan on your financial aid offer. There's the federal direct subsidized and the federal direct unsubsidized. I'm going to talk about some of the things that are the same and some that are different. Both of these loans, repayment starts 6 months after a student graduates or falls below half-time status, which is 6 credits. Both have the same interest rate for the 25-26 year. It's 6.39%. And both have the same origination fee of 1.057%. What that means is if you borrow $100 from the government, they're going to send 99 to UVM. Now, how are they different? Subsidized loans are need-based loans, while unsubsidized are not. The biggest difference is how they accrue interest. Subsidized interest begins accruing 6 months after the student graduates or falls below half time. unsubsidized starts accruing that interest right away. Now, we are more than happy to speak with your student or with you to talk about ways to kind of work with those loans. They're a wonderful thing, but maybe how to reduce some of that interest, maybe paying some of it off while you're in school. We're happy. We're here to talk with you to help you through all of these financial matters. Next slide, please. UVM student loans. We do have a UVM Clark loan. This is a loan that is based on financial need for eligibility. If you are eligible for the Clark loan, it will be included in your aid offer. It is not a separate loan that you can apply for. So if you are eligible, it is on your aid. For the Clark loan, there is no interest that accrues while a student is enrolled at least half time. There is a 5% interest rate, and the Clark loan begins repayment 9 months after the student graduates or falls below half time. Next slide, please. Now, in addition to the federal direct subsidized loans, which are in your student's name, so your students will choose to accept those or not, there's also the federal direct parent plus loan. Now, this is a credit-based federal loan in the parent's name. There is a 10-year repayment that begins when the student is enrolled. This loan is not subsidized. This loan is accruing interest. You can request to defer payment until your student graduates, but please keep in mind that that interest is accruing. The current interest rate on the 25-26 loans is 8.94%. There is a 4.228 origination fee on this loan. That means if you borrow $100 from the federal government, they're sending 96 to UVM. Now, if you're a parent and you would like to apply for the Parent Plus loan, you would apply at studentaid.gov. This is the same place you filed your FAFSA. Now, Susan spoke briefly about refunds and setting up direct deposit. I'm going to make a quick little comment here. If you are taking out a Parent Plus loan and you anticipate using that loan, that it's going to pay for some of those incidental, some of those non-billable costs, there is a little checkbox when you're signing up for that loan that says it's okay to refund to the student. If you don't, we have to send that money back to you and you can send it to your student. Now, if you forget to check that box, that's okay. Give us a call, send us an email. We are happy to help you out on this end in order to get the money where you wanted it to go. Next slide, please. Private education loans. These are loans that are offered by a wide variety of banks and lending agencies. They are going to have a variety of interest rates, fees, and repayment terms. You're going to really want to shop. Look for those things, ask the questions to see what's going to be the best. Now, some lenders do private parent loans. Many do private student loans. Those are going to be loans in the student name, generally with a cosigner required. We want you to go out and research, compare. We have a loan comparison tool with Elm Select, and you can see right there on your screen the link where you can go research those loans. Now, people always ask me when they come in, what do you think? What do you recommend? And there are so many options, and every family is different. We do want you to do the research. I can say if you work with a bank or credit union that you already have a loan with, perhaps that's a good place to start to see if they offer education loans since you're already a customer. I highly recommend checking your state agencies. They usually have some wonderful rates. And sometimes, even if you're traveling out of your home state, and speaking of traveling out of your home state, if you are not a Vermonter and you're an out of state student coming to Vermont, you can use our state agency, which is Vermont Student Assistance Corps, VSAC for short, for loans as well. So many different opportunities and things to look at. Next slide, please. And at this point, I jumped one slide ahead and I apologize to my colleague, Terry. I'm going to pass this over to Terry, and Terry's going to talk about some unusual circumstances that might be happening and how to navigate them and looking into the future.
Thank you so much, Jan. That's great. Thank you for providing the billing and payment options. Yes, looking at uncertain financial circumstances, keep in mind that the 25-26 FAFSA looks at the household income for a dependent student for the 2023 calendar year. If it's an independent student, it would look just at that student's income for the 2023 year. So if there has been a change to your family's resources, job loss, job change, illness, family has separated into two households, let us know that. If that has changed, what we are allowed to do is look to see if we can review to do an appeal. What that means is we're allowed to update the FAFSA with more current information and see if that would increase a student's financial need to allow for an increase in their need-based financial aid award. If you are submitting an appeal, we ask you to keep in mind that we would use the existing award for planning and bill payment for this first semester while that appeal is being reviewed. Next slide. And looking further ahead, there is times when a student does need to withdraw from the university. Not something we want to think about today in this excitement in graduation month. But if that should happen, there's an illness or that skiing accident, something like that. If a student does need to withdraw, we do want to review this tuition refund schedule. So the first 2 weeks of school, classes begin August 25th, a Monday. And if a student were to withdraw by September 8th, totally withdraw from the university, 100% of the tuition and fees would be reversed from the student's account. If the student withdrew between September 9th and September 15th of the fall semester, that refund would reduce to 50% of the tuition and fees. 50% would be charged, 50% would be credited. Now, keep in mind that the financial aid is based upon a full charge of tuition and fees. So that also would be reviewed and reduced to align with the credit of the tuition and fees. Furthermore, in the tuition refund schedule, the following week, 9/16 to 9/22, 25% of the tuition fees would be credited. And most importantly, after September 22nd, there would be no refund. The full semester would be due at that point in time. If a student is living on the campus, housing and meal plans would be prorated up to September 22nd, meaning it would be charged according to the time that the student lived on campus before that withdrawal. And after that date, there would be no refund. The full tuition, housing, and meal plan would be due for the semester. Pardon me. Next slide, please. So we are here on campus. We've started the fall semester. We're not considering withdrawing, and we want to look ahead to maintaining aid eligibility. Pardon me. So in the next year, a student would be applying for need-based aid with the FAFSA. They would file it by February 1st of 2026. That is our priority deadline for the FAFSA to be filed. Vermonters, please keep in mind that the VSEC grant application would be due. Let's keep it at that same date. That would also need to be filed, and that is required to be considered for federal and our need-based UVM grant and state aid, the Vermont grant being state aid from Vermont. A student also needs to be maintaining satisfactory academic progress. What that means is they're making progress towards their degree within the 4 years, maintaining, completing courses, and also maintaining a cumulative grade point average. A student that has received a merit scholarship, congratulations on receiving that at admissions. That's wonderful. What I would like to say is that is remind you that that was awarded to you with continuous full-time enrollment available to you for up to 8 semesters. And there is a GPA requirement that we review annually after each spring semester. Very important that you review that and ensure if you have a bumpy fall semester, you want to work with your advisors and replan your spring semester. At the end of the spring, we're going to look at your cumulative GPA. It should be at 3.0. And then we will renew that merit scholarship for the next year. And the next slide, please. And that brings us to our question and answers. So I am going to invite my colleague Martha to join me with questions that she has been gathering from the queue.
Hello, Terry. So there are a lot of folks that have questions about if they have 529 plans, how do they let us know that they're paying with 529s, and where do they send the funding?
Wonderful. Good question. So the 529, you're going to call your organization and request a distribution. I do recommend that you use our billing calculator, which is on our website, to calculate the amount that you would like to send to us. That check can be sent directly to our lockbox account in Williston, and that's P.O. Box 1306, Williston, Vermont, 05495-1306, the same as the lockbox. Please include your student's name and ID number on the check. Tell your company that you want that information recorded. We get several checks, and we want to make sure that it is credited directly to your student's account as soon as possible. When you're ordering that check, please give us a call or an email. Let us know you've ordered it, and we'll make a notation on the account, as Susan indicated earlier in our presentation. That way, you won't be charged a late fee in case that payment is delayed within the mail or leaving the company.
Thank you, Terry. So we also have questions about a monthly payment plan. One parent was concerned that if they set it up prior to July 1, would they need to then go in and manually adjust the payment plan once the bill comes out?
They can if they need to. Is that the question? Did I get that right?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So the payment plan is a volunteer plan. You design how much you would like to pay from that plan for the fall semester. If you need to increase that plan, you can certainly do that on the website. You can call us for assistance as needed to ensure that we have that correctly. If you've over budgeted, you're paying too much, then you can also reduce that payment plan. You would enter on the proxy portal. If you're a proxy, or your student can go in on their portal, go to the monthly payment plan and make those adjustments.
Thank you, Terry. So I have a couple of folks that are also eligible for GI benefits, and they're wondering what steps they need to take.
Oh, wonderful. We do have several students and veterans that are receiving benefits, whether it's Chapter 31 or 33 or 35. And we have a veteran service office here at UVM. The first step would be to say a parent is transferring those a parent veteran, excuse me, is transferring those benefits to their dependent student. They would contact the Veterans Administration and put into transfer those benefits, naming their student. Then the student would sign into the Veteran Services and say they would like to use those benefits. The student would then contact our Veteran Service office here and notify us that they have done that request for certification. And we would get that information. And then we would coordinate that between our Veteran Service office and our Student Financial Services office to make the updates to their financial aid award.
And if students do not want their student loans, do they need to do anything?
I did see a few of those questions. Yes, so a student that does not wish to borrow their direct loan, they can decline that loan. So they would sign into their portal, and instead of accepting the offer, they're going to say thanks, but no thanks, and decline it. If they are uncertain at this time, they can wait and until they're sure. Just keep in mind that we're going to email you about that loan being outstanding. So if you want us to stop asking you about it, you can decline the loan. Keep in mind, if you do decline the loan, you may change your mind within the academic year. As long as you're an enrolled student, that loan is available to you for the year. So if you change your mind, you would email our office or stop in and say, I would like to borrow that loan. And then we can review the steps and make that change with you.
So folks are definitely planning ahead, and they're wondering if they need to file both the FAFSA and the CSS profile next year.
Oh, what a great question. We will not need to file the CSS profile for next year. We did get confirmation of that from our administration, and that is not a required application next year. Very good question. Thank you. So just to be clear, we do need the FAFSA next year.
So I have some parents using our bill estimator, and they're wondering if they need to divide their merit equally when using it.
Their merit equally. Yes, they will put half to the fall and half to the spring.
And what should folks do if they need to request a financial aid appeal based upon a changed situation?
Sure. Yeah, that's we would ask that they give us a call, or they can send us an email. Now, please don't send any of your sensitive information by email. We want to keep it protected and safe, and email is not safe. What you could do is give us a few sentences about what's happened, maybe the date, if there's a job change, or a reduction in income in what year, when did it happen, then we will contact you and we will set up an appeal to request that sensitive information through our secure verification portal. We will ask the student, the verification portal belongs to the student. So we will ask the student to upload documents and have those completed and signed along with the parent.
Thank you. How do loans pay to the student accounts and when?
Okay. Direct loans, private loans, or all loans? Well, I'll go
Both
with all.
loans.
Okay. So the direct loans, the student would complete all the 3 steps that Susan mentioned: accepting, promissory note, entrance counseling. That loan will then be paid directly to the student's account electronically here at UVM 10 days before the semester begins. We begin August 25th, so we'll probably receive that on August 16th. A Parent Plus loan would be very similar. That is a federal loan electronically transmitted to the university to the benefit of the student's account once all the criteria is completed for that loan. A private loan is transmitted to the student's account, all paid directly to the student's account. That would come with a 10-day right of refusal. So when it is approved for the loan, then we, we would set a disbursement date and have those funds come and pay to the student's account. Keep in mind that if you're borrowing a private loan or a Parent Plus loan, you can borrow for the academic year, or you can borrow for 1 semester at a time. It may be easier to borrow for the full year and have that loan equally divided between the fall and spring and have that set up at one time. It's certainly the choice of the family if you're going to have different parents borrowing, but just to make it easier for you, those loans that are pending for the spring semester can always be updated or changed as well. So just want to put that thought out there as well.
We have a few students that are experiencing trouble accepting their loans. I do believe it's the students, not the parents. And so they're asking for help.
Okay, so a student that is accepting their loan, they would sign into their My UVM portal and they would click on the financial aid card. It looks like a little card, and they would say view my award and click on that link. There they would see a question called a Title IV question. And there's instructions there. They have to answer that question first before the tab to accept their award is eligible to be clicked on. When they answer the question, they're going to say, the question is, will you use your loan to pay any penalty fees on your student account? The federal government requires that answer. You can say yes or no, and then hit submit at the bottom of the screen. And then the accept button tab would be available to the student. They would then scroll down and see the loans and work study awards. We know they're going to accept their grants and scholarships, and we've accepted those for you. So it's only the direct loans and the UVM loans, if a student is awarded that as well. That is a need-based loan. And the federal work study. If a student is still having difficulty at that point, please reach out to our office. One thing could be if we need additional information, if there is verification is selected. The federal government sometimes selects accounts for additional information, and we would not let you accept an award if we are asking for additional information.
Thank you, Terry. We have folks that have 529 funds that can be sent electronically, and they're wondering if that can happen with us, or do we require a paper check?
Well, we prefer the paper check, actually. It's actually faster. I know that sounds funny, but the paper check goes to our lockbox, and the distribution can be sent there from your company. Do not ask or do not pay an express fee for them to send that payment to us. A lockbox can't sign for it. It actually would delay the payment. So the paper check is really the preferred form for that 529 distribution.
Thank you. So I have another question. If the Parent Plus loan is not approved, will the student federal loan increase?
Great question. Yes. So with the Parent Plus loan, the parent applies online at studentaid.gov and will know immediately if they're approved or not. And then they have a couple of options. They can appeal the credit decision if they believe that it is incorrect, that, oh no, I have taken care of that item that has appeared on my credit report. If the parent does have a credit issue, concern, they can get a cosigner, what we call an endorser on the Parent Plus loan. That person would have to be approved for credit. That's the second option. And then they can borrow the Parent Plus loan. Of course, the endorser would also be responsible for the Parent Plus loan. The option you mentioned is if the parent is not approved for the Parent Plus loan, can't do an endorser, can't fix their credit, then they could say, the student could email our office and say, I would like to be awarded an additional unsubsidized loan because my parent is not approved for the Parent Plus loan. A first-year student can receive $4,000 additionally in an unsubsidized loan if the parent is not approved. That is also true for a sophomore student. A junior or a senior student would be eligible for up to $5,000 in a direct unsubsidized loan if the Parent Plus loan was not approved.
Thank you. We're getting down there in time, but I think we have time for another question or two. If a family member offers a gift to assist in paying for a semester, would this negatively impact the student's eligibility for financial aid for that semester or a subsequent semester?
Let me see if I have the question correct. A grandparent wants to give a gift to their student?
Yes.
Okay, great. No, that is not a problem. That is helping to reduce the out-of-pocket expenses that's coming from the student or the family. So say a relative or a grandparent in this case, would like to make a one-time payment to the student, they can do so with our guest payer login. That payment would go directly onto the student's account. It's an electronic check that they would be making. That is, on on our website under payment options. What they would need is the student's name. I think they have it, and the student's ID number. It begins with a 95 or a 96. And then they would just type in the amount that they wish to pay, and then they would enter their check routing number and their checking account number, and there would not be a fee for that type of payment. If they do not wish to pay electronically through the guest payer site, they can send a check to our lockbox address and include the student's name and ID on the check memo line so that we would apply it directly there.
Okay, we need to add the address here for where to send 529 payments. We're going to add that right here. And then we have a question about when a student moves off campus, how does it work with housing? They're wondering if their financial aid money is impacted.
That's a great question. So looking ahead, when a student is living off campus, we do also include a room and meals in our financial aid budget. So we have a budget for a student living on campus, and we have a budget for a student living off campus. So a student or a family can borrow up to that budget, that cost of attendance. So when the bill comes out, they're being billed for tuition and fees, not room and meals, but their financial aid, if they borrow that full cost of attendance or more than the tuition and fees, that will overpay their student account. And that would cause a credit balance that can be refunded each semester to the student and to help to pay those off-campus expenses. Those would be rent and meals and transportation and books. Those are books and transportation are not regularly are not billed to the student account, but they are part of the financial aid budget.
Thank you. Folks are wondering what the Title IV question is when they're accepting loans.
Sure. It is a question. If you read the question, it's saying, will you use your federal loan funds to pay any charges on your student account? And it's a question addressed to the student in their student portal. They can say, yes, I will, or no, I will not use my federal loan to pay for a parking fine, for instance, a penalty fine, or a late payment fee. They answer that question, but they have to submit that answer before they can accept their loan or get to their acceptance tab on their portal. Now, if the parent is trying to accept for the student, that doesn't work very well. The student is the only one that can accept or decline their aid.
We've got about 5 minutes left. We have a parent who said that the first few lines noted that the estimated cost is what's being used and that food and housing is estimated. They'd like to know what the exact amount is.
Where are we getting the estimated cost?
Because room assignments aren't assigned yet.
Okay. All right. So what we're doing is the estimated cost is for a traditional double standard room. We have various levels of housing. And we have a few meal plan options. So we're taking the combination of those numbers to get an estimated room and food cost in the budget. And if you use our billing estimator, you can, when you select living on campus, there's a drop-down menu. And if you know where your student may be living, you can select the exact level of housing to get the accurate price. If you have questions, though, please just give us a call or an email. We'll be happy to help you.
Well, we'd like to invite everybody to attend our session on Wednesday, July 16th. And it's Unlocking UVM Billing, Your Questions Answered. It begins at 7 o'clock. And we really enjoyed our time with you today. As Terry said, we're here to help. And we look forward to seeing you all real soon.